ladies and gentlemen. You've been holding on so tightly that your hands are tired, your heart is weary, and your soul is aching. You've built walls, carried burdens, and worn masks so long that you've forgotten what it feels like to breathe freely. But I came to tell you, there is another way. You weren't created to carry it all. You weren't designed to pretend that everything's fine when you're silently screaming on the inside. I know what it's like to wear strength like armor while your knees are buckling beneath the weight of expectations. And I know how hard it is to release what's familiar, even when it's breaking you. Letting go doesn't mean giving up. It means choosing peace over chaos. It means choosing growth over comfort. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is surrender, not because you're weak, but because you're ready to rise. You've been trying to figure it all out, trying to connect dots that don't want to align. You've been forcing seasons to stay that were only meant to pass. But every season has an expiration date, and you're not doing yourself any favors by overstaying your welcome in a chapter that's trying to close. It takes courage to walk away from what's familiar. It takes faith to believe that there's more ahead than there was behind. But that's where your next level lives. In the unknown, in the stretch, in the space between who you were and who you're becoming. Some of you are still carrying stories that no longer serve your growth. You're clinging to what they said, what they did, what didn't work out. You're trying to rewrite chapters that were never yours to fix, and you wonder why you feel stuck. Baby, it's because you can't walk into newness with your hands full of yesterday. This is the moment to release the hurt, release the shame, release the guilt, the regret, the fear, the need to control every outcome. Because the truth is, control is an illusion. You can orchestrate and plan and analyze every detail, but at some point, life will throw something your way that reminds you you were never meant to be the conductor of it all. Freedom comes when you stop trying to manipulate the process and start trusting the purpose. Even the painful parts, even the waiting, even the silence. I know you're wondering why it had to happen that way, why they walked away, why the door closed, why the answer was no. But sometimes the rejection is the redirection. Sometimes the very thing you're praying to hold on to is the thing that's holding you back. Letting go is a form of love. It's saying I trust the journey more than I trust my fear. It's believing that something greater can be built from the pieces of what broke you. It's refusing to be defined by what didn't last. But don't get it twisted. Letting go isn't always loud. Sometimes it's quiet. It's tears on a pillow when no one's watching. It's deleting the number but still remembering the voice. It's walking away from something you wanted just to honor what you need. And it's okay to grieve it. It's okay to feel it. Healing isn't a straight line, but it's worth every step. You have to give yourself permission to evolve, to outgrow environments that once felt like home, to choose peace even if it means being misunderstood. You don't owe anyone an explanation for choosing yourself. Because you were not born to shrink, you were born to shine. And sometimes, in order to shine, you have to be stripped of everything that dims your light. That stripping, that pruning, that's not punishment. It's preparation. There's something inside of you that the world needs. A voice, a gift, a presence that can't be duplicated. But as long as you're tangled in what was, you won't have the capacity for what is. In the place where you say, even if I don't understand, I trust that what's ahead is better than what I'm leaving behind. There's a version of you on the other side of surrender that is bold, unbothered, and unstoppable. A version of you that laughs without apology, that walks into rooms without shrinking, that knows your worth, without needing validation. Burden. She's waiting on you. She's waiting on you to stop replaying old scenes like they still have power. She's waiting on you to stop settling for good enough when you were made for greatness. She's waiting on you to let go. This isn't the end, it's the shift, the pivot, the sacred unraveling that makes room for the rebirth. Letting go doesn't diminish your story, it magnifies your strength. It says, I trust that there's beauty in the becoming. So let the past be the past, let the wound turn into wisdom, let the disappointment fuel your determination, let the ending teach you how to begin again. Because you can, you absolutely can. You can start over, you can rebuild, you can thrive, you can become. You are not what you lost, you are not what left. You are not the mistake, the failure, or the pain. You are the one who survived, the one who endured, the one who dared to believe that healing was possible. So breathe, baby. Breathe deep. You don't have to carry it anymore. You don't have to figure it all out today. You don't have to have every answer. You just have to take the first step. Open your hands, loosen your grip, let it fall away if it must, and then walk forward. Would you like this turned into a video script or formatted for a spoken word performance? Letting go is not weakness. It's a powerful act of trust. Too often we're taught that holding on is a sign of strength, that if we just try harder, pray longer, fight more fiercely, we'll force things into place. But sometimes strength doesn't look like a clenched fist. Sometimes strength looks like an open hand. It looks like surrender. It looks like standing in the middle of uncertainty and choosing peace instead of panic. But now it's time to stop rehearsing the old season. It's time to stop consulting your past to validate your future. You've grown, you've healed, you've evolved, and you're allowed to leave the past behind without apology. This is your moment to choose forward, to stop trying to resurrect what no longer breathes, to stop asking old doors for new access, to stop expecting new outcomes from the same old habits. You were made for movement, for transformation, for becoming. But becoming requires release. It requires a bold decision to step out of what was. Release what no longer serves your growth or peace. Life has a way of filling your hands with things that were only meant to be temporary. Relationships, roles, habits, thoughts. And somewhere along the way you started holding on to them like they were permanent, like your identity was tied to keeping everything intact. But there comes a moment when you have to look at what you're carrying and ask yourself, honestly, is this helping me grow, or is this just familiar? Because just because something feels normal doesn't mean it's healthy. Just because it's been with you for a long time doesn't mean it's meant to go with you into your next season. Growth requires evaluation. Peace requires intentionality, and neither of those things can happen if your life is cluttered with attachments that drain your energy, dim your light, and distract your purpose. Sometimes we cling to things because we've attached meaning to them. We say, if I let this go, who am I without it? Or what if I regret leaving it behind? But not everything that came with you is supposed to stay with you. Some people were there to teach you. Some roles were there to stretch you. Some places were there to wake you up. And when their purpose is fulfilled, it's not abandonment to walk away. It's alignment. Releasing isn't about being heartless. It's about being honest. Honest enough to say, this doesn't fit who I'm becoming. Honest enough to admit that peace has been missing because you've been so busy trying to carry what no longer feels right. And the moment you allow yourself to release what no longer serves you, you create room for what does. You can't elevate while staying emotionally, mentally, or spiritually connected to dead weight. Some conversations, some friendships, some thought patterns, they've reached their limit. And clinging to them doesn't prove loyalty. It reveals fear. Fear of being alone, fear of the unknown, fear of change. But fear isn't a reason to stay stuck. Growth asks for movement. Peace asks for separation. And your future is too important to stay entangled in what no longer brings life. Ask yourself, what am I holding on to out of habit rather than hope? Is this job fulfilling me or just paying bills? Is this relationship feeding my soul or just filling space? Is this mindset propelling me or paralyzing me? You cannot grow while pacifying dysfunction. You cannot evolve while avoiding truth. The peace you're seeking won't be found in adding more to your life. It'll be found in subtracting what's stealing your clarity. The power you're looking for won't come from hustling harder to keep everything together. It'll come from releasing the pressure to be everything to everyone and finally becoming everything to yourself. You owe it to yourself to be free, to be whole, to be in environments that don't require you to shrink, to engage in relationships that feel safe, not performative, to think thoughts that affirm, not attack. And anything that doesn't help you do that, let it go, bless it, learn from it, but don't. Peace is not a luxury, it's a necessity, and sometimes the greatest act of self-love is making peace a priority over people-pleasing, over perfection, over pretending. You are not responsible for keeping what's expired alive. You are responsible for honoring your next chapter by releasing what can't come with you. Letting go might be hard at first. It might feel like loss. But in reality, it's liberation. It's your soul saying, I deserve better. It's your heart saying, I'm ready now. And it's your future saying, welcome home. Healing begins where control ends. You don't have to keep tightening your grip on life to prove that you're strong. You don't have to micromanage your circumstances, your emotions, or other people just to feel safe. Somewhere along the way, you started believing that if you could just control everything, you wouldn't get hurt again. That if you anticipated the fall, maybe it wouldn't hurt as much when it came. But all that control is costing you more than it's protecting you. You're exhausted, not just physically, but emotionally, spiritually. Tired from carrying the weight of what is and just in case. Tired from rehearsing every possible outcome, from playing the same scene in your head over and over as if that would change how it played out. Control has become your defense mechanism, your armor. But the truth is, it's also become your prison. Healing doesn't ask you to have all the answers. It asks you to be willing to step out of survival mode and into surrender. And surrender isn't weakness. It's the doorway to restoration. When you finally release the illusion that you have to hold it all together, that's when the real mending begins. Because healing isn't about fixing what's broken on the surface. It's about releasing what's festering underneath: fear, resentment, shame, disappointment. So many people are stuck in cycles of pain because they're too busy trying to control the healing process. They want to decide how fast it happens, what it looks like, who apologizes when closure comes, but healing doesn't answer to your schedule. It doesn't obey your demands. It responds to your willingness to feel what you've been avoiding and to release what you've been holding too tightly.